Hey everybody, it's Nina with Mama Nina Cooks, and as promised, today I'm going to make my chicken pot pie quickie. So it's going to be fast and easy and good. Okay, ready? Let's get going. So we're going to turn on about medium-high heat and put a little olive oil in the bottom of the pan. What's the matter? Oh, I don't have any bacon right now, sweetie. Come back later. Okay, we're going to add our onions. Now I'm going to add bell peppers to this because I like it. You're going to discover I like to add a lot of vegetables to everything. I'm not drinking wine today because we haven't had any technical difficulties. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Now I've jinxed myself. Oh, we'll see. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Let's add our garlic. It's like 2 cloves of garlic chopped up, minced. Move that around a little bit. So you could just leave it out if you're not a fan of any of this. Just put onions if you like and leave the rest out. And you make it yours. Okay, now to this I'm going to add about 8 ounces of frozen mixed vegetables. And a little chopped up red potato. It's a small potato. Put those together. And I have a tiny bit of broccoli, and I broke it up into little bitty tips, with just the baby tips. All right, now we're going to add about 2 or 3 tablespoons of water to this. I'm going to lower it down a little bit, and we're going to cover this. And we're going to simmer that for about 5 to 6 minutes, just till they're soft. Okay, these look good. I'm going to transfer these to a bowl. In the same pan, I turned the heat up a little bit. I'm going to put a little more olive oil in here. We're going to add our chicken breasts. This is a boneless, skinless chicken breast that I cut in half so it would cook faster. And we're going to season it up with a little lemon pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. I'm just going to season one side. I didn't get that very even, did I? Some red crushed pepper, a little spice, and a little bit of smoked paprika. We're going to do a little pepper, black pepper. A little bit of salt. If your pan gets dry, just add a little more olive oil. We're going to cook these about, 2 to 3 minutes per side. And it's nice and brown. Brown it on this side a couple of minutes. And keep that oil in your pan. Put salt and pepper this side. It's looking really good. All right, we're going to add about a half a cup of water, and we're going to cover this. We're going to let that cook for about 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, so these have been cooking about 5 minutes. I'm going to take these up and put them on a plate. I'm going to cut these up. When they cool, I am going to scrape the bottom of this pan, get up all of these little bits and juices. It's going to be so good in our chicken pot pie filling. Put that there. Now in the same pan, I'm using the same pan over and over because I don't want to lose any of that flavor we're building. We're going to add 1/3 cup of butter. Okay, now to this I'm going to add 1/3 cup of flour. So it's the same measurement of butter and flour. And then we're going to see if we're happy with that ratio. Yeah, looks like it's going to work fine. I need a smaller whisk. Can't get into the corners with that one. Okay, so I'll whisk this around a little bit, cook that flour out a little bit so it doesn't have an uncooked flour taste. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. That's about the consistency you want your roux to be. Okay. So don't let this sit, just keep stirring it. Cook that flour out just for a couple of minutes. Now we're going to add equal amounts. I have about 2 cups of chicken broth here. I'm not going to put the whole thing in. I'm just going to put about a cup. I'm going to add equal amounts of milk when this cooks down a little bit. Add a little more chicken broth. See how thick it's getting? Okay, I'm going to start adding some milk into this. This is whole milk. You can use half and half if you want them to be richer. Or if you're worried about calories, you can use skim milk. I'm going to add this juice back in that was left over from the chicken when we cooked it. That's going to add so much flavor. Found some little bits on my turner. I'm going to scrape that off and put it in here. That's nothing but flavor. And when I turn that chicken, okay, we're going to turn this down. It's a little too hot. Cook it for a couple of minutes like this. Now for more flavor, in my mortar and pestle, I have some rosemary, thyme, and sage. And it smells so divine. And it's like a poultry seasoning mix. So I'm going to add some of that. Maybe not all of this. That might be too much. Whoops. My oven's at the temp it needs to be, 425. So you want it to simmer for, 3 or 4 minutes. I'm going to want to taste this, see if it needs any salt, pepper, anything. Oh my goodness. It's divine. I'm going to put some pepper in it. The salt is perfect. All right. So let's turn this off for now. Okay, let's cut up our chicken. And you guys saw I only left that in there about 5 minutes after it browned. Got a little pepper in my throat. And I didn't think we were going to have any bloopers. I should have known. Bite-sized pieces. Okay, now we're going to add in our chicken breast and our veggies. That we cooked earlier. Stir that around. Starting to look like chicken pot pie, huh? It's gonna be so flavorful, you guys. And it's so easy. And add just a little bit of chopped parsley in here. All right, there's our filling. Let's go make our pie. Okay, so we have our filling all done. I'm really excited about it. It tastes so good. Now we're going to make a crust for the top. I'm using make loosely because I bought a refrigerated pie crust. I like Pillsbury. And I'm going to roll that out and put that on top of the pie. I'm only going to have a top crust. I'm not going to make a bottom crust, only because I want to make this more figure friendly. We'll put it like that. So you can make a bottom crust and a top crust if you want. That's fine. But we're just going to put a top crust on this today. So we're going to put it in this pie pan. So here's our pie crust. I'm using a 9-inch buttered sides and bottom pie pan. It's deep, it's like a deep dish pie pan. Okay, so we'll get our dough out. I have some wax paper here on my table. I'm gonna dust it with flour. I've had the dough sitting out for a couple of minutes. Let's see. Let's do it like this. I've had the dough sitting out for a couple of minutes so it could warm up a little bit and get pliable. So I'm just going to unroll it carefully. You can make your own pie crust if you like. With these fast, easy recipes, I usually just run to Pillsbury refrigerated pie crusts. I usually do fine. I may have left this out a little too long. Here comes our blooper. It's okay if it ends up looking like this because we're just gonna roll it out again and pretend that didn't happen. We'll just treat it like regular dough because it is regular dough. Got my rolling pin, so we're gonna just roll this out a little bit. I keep my flour in a sugar duster. Even if you mess it up, it's okay. A little more flour. I'm gonna make this kind of thin. Okay, I'm trying to get it kind of round. That's probably good enough. Okay, so let's move this here. We're gonna put our filling in our pie dish, our buttered pie dish. That smells so good, you guys. We build our flavors from when we started sauteing the vegetables. We used the same pan. So we moved those flavors on to when we browned our chicken. Put a little water in the pan to break up the juices on the bottom and the bits. And we poured all that in here. That's how you get really flavorful dishes. You build each step. So let's put our, can you guys see? Let's put our pie crust over the top. Just lay it over, take off the wax paper. And I'm going to cut around the edge. I'm going to need my glasses for this one. And I'm going to leave about an inch hanging over the edge because I want to flute that. Save your dough that you're cutting off. Use that for something else. We'll come up with something. Okay, so I'm going to press this down on the top. This is a really, really thin crust. May have gotten a little too thin. That's okay. Just going to put your two fingers together and then press the dough in between your two fingers. That's how you flute a pie. Now I'm going to cut some air vents in this. And I'm going to put this pie onto a lined cookie sheet. I'm going to make sure the pie crust is pushed onto the sides. I'm going to go stick this in the oven. It's a 425-degree oven, and we're only trying to cook the crust. Everything else is cooked in here. So I don't think that's going to take longer than probably 5 or 6 minutes, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. But this is a very thin pie crust, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. Okay, I put the timer at 6 minutes. I forgot to show you guys this doohickey. I've had this for, geez Louise, I don't know how many years. But you put this over the top of your pie and it keeps your edges from browning too much. Cool, huh? Okay, I added 8 more minutes and it wasn't done. And then I added 6 more minutes and it wasn't done. So that's 20 minutes. I thought it was going to take 6. Wrong again. Ooh, it's pretty. Bring it all over here so you can see it. Look how pretty. It's such a thin crust. But I like it like that. But you guys make it as thick as you want. We're gonna let this cool for a few minutes before we try to cut it because it'll all fall apart if we don't. Okay, and then we'll taste it. But oh my gosh, it smells so good. I wish you guys could smell it. Okay, let's cut into our chicken pot pie quickie. Some of these. Size. Oh, look at that. Doesn't that look good? It looks so good. Let's go have a bite. Okay, so let's taste this chicken pot pie quickie. I didn't let it cool long enough. I cut it too soon and it kind of didn't stay together, but that's okay. And it's gonna taste great anyway, I'm sure. It looks delicious. So let's give it a taste. Chicken pot pie quickie. It looks so good. Open up. That's so good, it's ridiculous. I'm not even kidding you. It's so good. I can't even believe I did that. It's really good. You guys got to try this. Your family's going to go crazy for it. And it was easy. You saw what I did. It was really easy. We didn't roll out like homemade dough, and we didn't use a whole chicken, and it was quick. But it's so flavorful. Okay. I'm gonna try it. Sorry. Okay, please try it and let me know what you think, okay? So here's the part where if you just came for the recipe and the cooking, I understand if we're not into stories, but I always like to tell a little story at the end because I got a gazillion of them. But if you're not in for that, that's fine. I really thank you for being here, all of you, and I'm very grateful. And stay for bloopers, or fast forward to the end for bloopers if you're not going to stay for the story. We probably have quite a few bloopers tonight. Remember, I always leave my mistakes in so you can see them, so you know you can do this too. And remember, when you cook for someone you love, it really shows that you care when you make something homemade or semi-homemade. And if I can do it, you can do it. You see all my blunders and forgetfulness and things, and I still made something great, and you can too, okay? So give it a shot. Okay, and next, I believe the next video I'm gonna make my homemade meatloaf. It's a little different, not like any normal, ordinary meatloaf. I put a lot of vegetables and garlic and everything in it. I think you'll like it. So I hope you come back for that, okay? If you like my video, I would love it if you would share it and like it, thumbs up, and subscribe. And if you hit that little bell, you'll get notified when my next video comes out. I so appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get to the story. Okay, so here's my story. Now this just happened like 2 days ago. It was very eerie and very odd, and so I wanted to share it. This was a couple of days ago. I was cleaning around the kitchen, and I suddenly got really sad about my mom, whom we lost, my brother and I, in 2001. And I also got really sad about my dog, Gracie, whom I lost just about a year ago, my little Cocker Spaniel. And I felt really sad, and I started crying just out of the blue in the kitchen, just started crying about Gracie and my mom. And so I let myself feel it and grieve it for a few minutes, because I know I'm still healing, and that's good to do. So then I went into my bedroom, and I heard this crash in the kitchen, and I walked out, and my Bose speaker, this is my Bose speaker, it's heavy. It had been on the counter, pushed up against the end of by the wall where I always keep it. And I was playing music. And it had fallen, I don't know how. All the cats were upstairs. But when I came into the kitchen, it was upside down in the middle of the floor. And I thought, that's weird. How did that happen? That's so odd. And I picked it up. I put it back on the counter, and I walked back in my bedroom, and then I stopped myself and I said, wait a minute. Let's pay attention to what just happened here. I walked back out, and this speaker was on the counter now, and it was still playing the song that it had been playing when it was upside down on the floor, which was Broken Halos by Chris Stapleton. It's a beautiful song. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Chris Stapleton song, Broken Halos. I can't play it for you for copyright reasons, but one of the verses I wanted to read to you, it's angels. Let me get my glasses on, sorry. Angels come down from the heavens just to help us on our way. They come to teach us, then they leave us to find some other soul to save. So I listened to that song, and I thought, oh my goodness. And I'm trying not to cry, but I really felt like they were speaking to me and letting me know that they were here with me, and that, trying to comfort me a little bit for missing them. So that's what I choose to believe. So thank you, Mom, and thank you, Gracie, for coming to see me. And I'm so grateful I stopped and listened and paid attention to what was happening, because so many times I would just go in there and put it on the counter and walked off and never thought about it again. But the older I get, the more I learn that things happen for a reason, and I need to pay attention to that. Okay, so that's my story. Thanks for sticking around for it. I hope you stick around for the bloopers. And again, I'm so appreciative of you being here, and I hope to see you next time when I'm going to make meatloaf. Okay, thank you. Bye. Oh, I forgot the most important part of that story. Oh my goodness. The day that this happened was my mother's 99th heavenly birthday. I forgot that part. That's like the most important part of that story. Okay, thank you. Bye. We're gonna put it back on the plate with the juices, because that's flavor. We'll see. I added, so it was 6, 8, 4, and 4. Or something. Got something. No, I missed a line, sorry.